Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry. I forget that whenever I get a call, and I'm live on YouTube, it like makes the video oh my word. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so I know there's a little delay, so we're gonna move forward. And then let me know if you can hear me. So this is this one. Now, the first one I did when I was trying this out, I did it like this, and I didn't like it. So I felt like it was really not proportionate. So this is the way I changed it up. Sorry about that, you guys. Like I was saying, everybody and their brother is calling me, texting me. I've had 4 texts and 2 people call me. And when it calls and you're on a YouTube live, it kicks you off your live. Like it doesn't give you it just freaks out. So I'm sorry about that. So our very last card that we're going to do, I'm going to use these 2 designs and it's going to be really simple. So we have our Old Olive card base. It's 4 1/4 by 5.5. And then this piece here is 2 1/2. And then it is going to be 3 3/4 because it is going to be a little bit smaller. And we're going to just do this piece down. And it is the back of these stripes. And I love these stripes. It's just like the classic Christmas. So we're going to center this. And we have a lot kind of on the top and a lot on the bottom. And then we have this piece here, and it is going to be 3 inches by 4 inches. And you can see it's less of a border, and we're going to overlap this. But the first thing we need to do is we need to do a ribbon. And so I'm using that same ribbon that I used on the last card. And this time the ribbon is just going to be wrapped around this piece of designer paper. And this is always a little bit hard when you're using ribbon on pattern paper because pattern paper tends to be thinner. You know, it's not as thick as cardstock. So you just have to be careful. You have to be patient. That's the thing when you're tying bows and working with ribbon is you just have to be patient. So I'm holding that pretty tight because again, once I put my loop in and I tie the loops, it's going to loosen up a tiny bit. So I want to always just be thinking of that and knowing that it could possibly loosen up a little. And then if it doesn't, like that didn't loosen up too much, I can just pull it and loosen it. And there is not much wiggle room here. So let's do that. Everything looks pretty flat. And then I'm going to put adhesive on that. So of course it'll flatten it up more. We'll bring our loops here. Okay. And then I'm going to want this bow over here and sort of like this. So we're going to put it over here on the edge. And then on the back here, we're going to add some foam. This ribbon is really flat, so it's going to be okay to just put the foam right over the ribbon. It's not going to affect it any. So, but I just want to make sure it's straight, because once that goes on there, you know, you won't be able to move it. So all in all, making these cards, it took me about, when I made all, because I've made all of them first, so that I know how they go and I could have a picture for the thumbnail and all of that. It took me about 35 minutes. So, and then our live has been about the same, about 35 minutes. But I've also been chatting about other things and checking comments and all of that. So now I just want to even up my strips. And you guys know I always use my heating trick to just melt the end. You know, if you're under the age of 18, you know, have permission, don't burn your house down, don't try to sue me, all of those things, disclaimers aside. Okay, so now I have a real red circle here, and we're just going to put a sentiment on it. And for this sentiment, we're going to use this really big one that says warm Christmas wishes. And this just barely fits on here. So what you want to do is make sure that you're like right there in the center, because it is going to hang off a little bit. Not bad. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is add adhesive here. And then attach that. And then we're going to bring the card back over. And we're going to need a few dimensionals on this side because it's hanging off. So just a couple to make sure it stays up. And then adhesive. And for our rhinestone bling on this one, we will do my classic in the corners, clusters. And of course, it's going to be a little bit hard to see red on red here, but we'll put like one on the old olive and it'll draw your eye down there, like what's down there? And then you'll see that there's some, and you can do half on, half off because the paper is flat. So let's take a look at all 4 of the cards we made. Let's close the ink up. I already have green fingers. So these are the 4 cards that we made. Let me see if you guys can see. And quite honestly, I'm really not loving the rhinestone situation. I really feel like this one came out better, but this one's smeared. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna fix that by removing this one that's stamped better. Sticking it right over that. And then adding some rhinestones in the corner. So I like that better. I just didn't really like the way that they were looking around the circle. It was a nice idea, but it wasn't working for me. And I like that much, much better. So those are the 4 cards. I will snap a photo and I will put that up, I will have a blog post that will have all of these with the measurements of each card underneath. And then I will stitch the 2 live videos together to make it one video. I apologize that that happened. And then I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I am enjoying this Friday morning, just crafting a little bit and getting my office cleaned up. So that is nice. And then these are my swap cards for our Blessed to Stamp group. So I will send these off and I will share the ones that I get back for sure. So you guys will see those. And swap cards don't always have to be the same. You could, like I could have just made 4 of these cards and that could be my swap card. But since our group is so small this time, I thought it would be fun to just make these different. And I love the way that they came out. I would love to know in the comments below which one is your favorite. I think that my favorite, I actually think it's this one, which is my favorite, but I love this designer paper and there's just so many different ways you could do these cards. It is really fun. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and I will chat with you guys next week when I have all new projects for you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and I will chat with you guys later.